So we'll begin our darshan now. We'll start with children. So do we have any children's questions? Yes, go ahead.
This is from Autumn's son, Gabriel Michael, age 10. How can we remember when we go to the retreats at night?
Before you sleep and dream and go to the retreats, you ask the angels of remembrance to help you to remember in the morning. And you see yourself going up into your I am presence, into your light body, fully clothed in pure light, where you have perfect memory. And you actually visualize yourself in the morning waking up and remembering what you experience. So the power of visualization will help you to remember in the morning. So you see yourself going up into your I am presence, and then maybe going to a retreat to commune with a master or learn something or serve in some way. And then you visualize yourself waking up in the morning, oh my gosh, I remember what happened. And then writing it down. And by writing it down, then you'll remember it again later, because sometimes if we don't write it down, we forget, right? And this happens to me all the time. If I don't write it down, I forget. So having a pad of paper or a notebook with a pen or pencil, and then writing down what you remember will help you to remember later too. So you visualize, you ask to go into your I am presence, so you're safe in the higher etheric planes of being, the heaven world. You don't go into the astral plane or the lower regions. You go only up, 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 up. You see yourself going up in light, and then ask to remember in the morning, and visualize yourself waking up and remembering, and then write it down. And the other key is to, if you can, try to give the beautiful meditation by Leto that I believe Nancy Batten led. It's her beautiful voice with all the songs that we sing. If you get it, make a habit of giving that, what is it, about 14 minutes long, approximately, 14, 15 minutes?
12, maybe.
What's that?
Maybe 12.
12 minutes. If you give that and sing the songs, I think that the angels will hear you and they will help you to remember. So that's what you do. Thank you for the question, Gabriel Michael. Okay, another one. Anybody here have a question? Nancy Locke.
So just as I was inspired to give the class that I'm giving tomorrow, now I'm feeling inspired by today's topic about elementals and our earth and nature and keeping things clean. So if I was to give a class on this topic, what would be the top 3 keys that would be most important for me to discuss?
Well, what I see is some research done on the key references through books, presentations, or even videos on the elementals in general. And so you have a page or something with all the resources where you draw from to then create your class. So having this beautiful page with the greatest books that people have read on, whether it's the fairies, the elementals, the gnomes, the leprechauns, all of that in one place would be a huge boon to our activity and to all light bearers as they research about elementals in general. So that is one thing, just the research that goes into it. Then from that research, what you attune to in terms of the greatest work that the elementals do, how their work is sacred, a little bit about their lives, and you can glean this from your research from these other sources, and there are many books. And then also in that resource page, the key heartstrings from the Heart Center as a portion, maybe it could be its own page, kind of the key heartstreams and information that's already been released. Then the third thing would be what we can do to help them. And what I'm seeing, Nancy, are some videos of what people have done, let's say to clean the oceans of debris and pollution. There are some fantastic things that have been done to preserve elementals, like, for instance, the planting of trees and the reforestation of deserts. So have some examples of what people have done already and are continuing to do to replenish the earth and make it an Edenic garden again, including, permaculture, including these people that in Africa or other places are planting trees. Planting trees is one of the holiest things that any human being can do to serve Mother Nature. Planting trees and berry bushes and all kinds of plants that put out oxygen into the air and help the environment, help, with the humidity, etc. So those three things would be absolutely key to having a presentation that is so magnificent and so inspiring that you actually inspire people to go and make changes in their own life, to grow gardens. The permaculture part is a whole science in itself, and you can refer people to different organizations or permaculture books, etc. So there's so many resources. And you may actually, in your resource section, you may have different subjects that relate to elementals and the nature kingdom. And so there could be, 12 different subjects all surrounding the central subject of planet Earth and God's nature. And then you look at it from different angles. So I see almost like a cosmic clock of all these beautiful resources that people can draw for, one of which is permaculture and arboriculture and, gardening and farming, and also the Austrian guy who did, Sepp Holzer, but also the other mystic, Rudolf Steiner, and what he's done. So there's so much out there, and there's so many resources. It's like creating a cosmic clock of all these amazing different resources. And you can use your attunement to say, okay, well, I consider this more etheric, this more mental, this more emotional, this more physical. And it would be very inspiring. And you can use AI to glean a lot of this, because it can help sort and categorize and really make the subjects very powerful. So this would be a phenomenal resource for the Heart Center moving forward and for the Healing Light Retreat, because part of the purpose of what Maydell's vision was a place where people could come and get healed partly through nature and the healing arts. So you bring the healing arts into play through this too. And that could be a whole nother subject that's similar, and it kind of dovetails into this, but you could have a whole thing on the healing arts and your vision of what the Healing Light Retreat and its mission can be. And when people are clear on that, when we get clear on that, then things will precipitate very quickly and very beautifully. So thank you for the question. Okay, do we have any more children's questions? If not, we'll take the next one from an adult online.
This is from Nicola in Canada. The sylphs and fairies have wings and are in the air element. Can they transition to the angelic kingdom and become angels?
Yeah, there was a similar question about the collaboration between the fairies and the air elementals and the angels, right? And the masters talked about like angel devas and the difference between devas and angels. There is a natural transition for fairies who desire to move into the angel kingdom, the angelic kingdom, to be served by and taught by angels how to, like, I guess this term is kind of funny, transition from one kingdom to another. Just like Archangel Michael used to be in the elemental kingdom before he was in the angel kingdom, right? So we have the example of Archangel Michael having been, what, a defender of a single blade of grass or something, as kind of like this Davic, powerful Davic being, but very tiny, and now he's an archangel. And then many of us re-embodied into the human kingdom from the angelic kingdom. Or there are people who were part of the fairy kingdom, like maybe you and a special lady in Norway. You identify more with fairies almost than humans, right? So you could have been part of the fairy kingdom and the elemental kingdom. Now you're part of the human kingdom. Well, would you like to go to the angelic kingdom next? So you experience all three kingdoms? You know? So, yes, there is the mystery of life manifest in how we can move into and actually evolve through the different kingdoms. Why? In order to gain the experience of what it means to be a part of those kingdoms, so we bring the fruits of our identification, our experience, our evolution, our growth, our transcendence as we learn in these various kingdoms to then culminate in what? Like a balanced threefold flame, because we've experienced God and God's infinite glory in the three kingdoms which represent the threefold flame. So the Elohim and the elemental kingdom is the blue, the human kingdom with the ascended masters is the yellow, and then the angelic kingdom is the pink, with all the 9 choirs and all the different aspects of the angelic realm. So this is a beautiful thing. It's kind of like the vision of America with our Constitution, with the understanding of the judicial, the representative or the legislative, and then the executive. The executive being the blue, judicial being, I believe, the yellow, and then the representative, the pink, the people. So isn't it interesting how the threefold flame is manifest in different ways in different aspects of our life and our culture, the earth itself, the Trinity, God, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, which is the Mother, of course, Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva. There's a triune nature of many things, and it's right within our own hearts. So the people that evolve through the three kingdoms are very masterful in the way that they are able to then, having been through all three kingdoms, move through any kingdom at all, at any time, and bring joy, bring love, bring empowerment and enlightenment and inspiration. You know, our Meru University is here to empower, enlighten, and inspire. Those are the three things that the Masters inspired upon me to say that our Meru University does. Empower, enlighten, and inspire. That's a threefold flame right there. If you look, those of you here in this room, you look at the Buddhist prayer flags up on the wall, there you have the threefold flame, blue, yellow, and reddish. And then we also have the green and the white. But in many cultures, an understanding of balance involves the triune nature of things. And the equilateral triangle is a representation in geometry of this perfect balance. And if you study the equilateral triangle and its mysticism and its power and its ability to anchor in form in 3 dimensions, even though it looks like 2 dimensions when you draw it, but when you make it into 3, what do you have when you take a equilateral triangle and make it into 3 dimensions? Anybody?
Pyramid?
A pyramid, yeah. Yeah, a pyramid. Well, and tetrahedron is the next beyond that, is kind of beyond that. So look at yourself, the masters say. Would you like to commune with the beings of the 3 kingdoms at any time? Angels, elementals, Elohim, and ascended masters? Yes, we do this in our calls. we have preambles that name all of them, right? So we are actually co-creating in three kingdoms when we commune with the masters, the angels, and the Elohim and the elementals and the devas. And we are glorifying God within all of these kingdoms simultaneously. And it's a beautiful thing to be able to love, appreciate, and commune with the beings of the three kingdoms. In the beginning of the book on angels, 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 I speak about these three kingdoms and how the angels are so important as we commune with them as a part of one of the three kingdoms. And it brings so much joy to our hearts to realize that we're not just working in one little domain. God has all these rooms in heaven, and there are many mansions in heaven, right? Well, do you think maybe the mansions could also represent different frequencies or different kingdoms in which God operates through different types of forms of life that he, she created in the beginning? Maybe those mansions have to do with different dimensions and different vibrational frequencies. So to attune to the elementals, you have to be loving at their frequencies. To attune to the angels, you have to be loving at their frequency. And to attune with the Elohim and the Ascended Masters, you have to be loving at their frequencies. So frequent their domains through love. Frequent their domains through love and attune to their frequency, and then they will reveal all manner of secrets to you, all manner of beautiful wisdom teachings. Okay, I think we have time for at least one or two more.
This is from, I think, Lori Mora. I read once that dogs are actually fairies embodied as dogs to show us unconditional love.
Some dogs are fairies. The ones that are very gentle and sweet and very light, like little poodles, are often the fairies that come and desire to experience life more on the earth plane. Other dogs, though, are almost more like Elohim, the big dogs that are very powerful and very, they may have snouts that are a little ugly sometimes, but they're more like, I'll picture a different aspect of the elemental kingdom. But yeah, there are the more sweet and gentle and poodle-like dogs can sometimes be fairies that desire to experience life in the dog domain, which is the gnome domain. That's the short answer. Okay.
This is from Kathleen. In the Bodhisattva vision, number 16, it says, "And may the stooping animals be freed from fear of being preyed upon, each other's food, and may the famished spirits have such joy as those who dwell within the northern continent." My question is, how can we help animals be free from fear?
By being vegans or vegetarians first, preferably vegan, as much vegan as we can, because when you encounter an elemental and you eat meat, they know it instantly. And they recognize spirituality naturally because they resonate with people that are gentler and love them, and they feel your love. So the first thing is to have a diet as close to the Essene diet as possible, given all the parameters of your life. And some of you feel like you have to eat meat because you can't feel anchored unless you do. I understand that. And the perfect diet is really the original diet. The next thing is to be fearless yourself. So if you are fearless, which means you've conquered fear and you've mastered your emotional body, then naturally you will help all life to become fearless by conquering or overcoming any perverted emotional energy. So it's not just about bravery or courage to be fearless. To be fearless means you have no fear and that you have mastered your emotional body. I don't think we realize that. We think of fearless as just being, having a lot of bravado or bravada if you're female, right? That's not what being fearless is about completely. It can be part of it. Being fearless means you've mastered the 2 o'clock line of the cosmic clock, like Jesus. You have no fear because you've entered a state of non-reactivity to all strife and negative emotions and projections and perversions. You live in the harmony and in the peace of the presence, where you are the master of water and you can walk on water spiritually. So this is a new teaching. I've never heard this exactly this way, and I'm glad you asked the question, Kathleen, because I had never thought of this. David Lewis had never thought of this before. This teaching is right from my higher self. Yet it makes total sense, right? To be fearless means to be the conqueror of fear, which is an emotional energy of reactivity and thinking that something negative is going to happen because you don't understand something or you see it as evil. Okay, so if you see things as evil or that they're going to hurt you, will they? Well, your vision kind of creates your life and your world. So if you behold everything as beautiful, divine, and pure, even seemingly evil people, you see the God in them, you draw that out. Jesus was fearless because he saw the perfection within every person. He saw the God essence within them. He harmonized with it and brought them up. If their vibration wasn't manifesting that, he drew them up into their presence, and then he attenuated the fire within his heart unto them, or stretched it out and delivered it unto them so that they could be whole again. So to be fearless is to be Buddhic, is to be non-reactive, is to live in the integrity of unity, of this state that is the perfection of being in the center of the circle and non-reactivity, like Lao Tzu, your beloved, and realizing that in this fearless state, you have mastered and conquered the emotional plane. Not so much conquered it, but mastered it. Because when we conquer something, that seems like a warring element. But what I prefer to say is to master it by knowing it and attuning to it, and then realizing its inherent nature as also of God. So we stop looking at things as if they were evil, bad, negative, and judging it based on that, and we realize that everything is of God, as created by light in the beginning. And when we shine forth the light, when we are the light just takes care of the darkness, and it doesn't affect us anymore. So being fearless helps all elementals to also be fearless. Now, there's that one guy on TV that trains dogs, and he's amazing. Does anybody remember his name? There's lots of videos out there.
Dog whisperer.
What's that?
The dog whisperer.
Yeah, he's kind of a dog whisperer guy, and he knows how to deal with them at their level of consciousness. And sometimes, he may seem to be a little rough, but he's not. He's actually, they know that he knows what they're made of and what their problem is. Very quickly, he knows what their issue is. And sometimes it's the so-called owner, the human, that's the problem, who allows a dog to get away with stuff and hasn't been training them properly from birth to be who they truly are, meant to be, these dogs, right? So when you know how to treat and work with animals and honor them in the right way, you become like a St. Francis of Assisi, where they will respond, they will obey, and you become like their master because you are masterful of yourself. So those are really the only people we can call masters, who have mastered themselves. We really shouldn't refer to anybody else as a master. unless it's obvious that they have mastered themselves, and then they are a true master. And by mastering ourselves, then we can help any elemental, any nature spirit, because we have conquered the darkness within, we have transmuted it, become all light. So thank you, Kathleen.
Cesar Milan?
That's the guy, Cesar, yeah. Cesar Milan, yeah. He's awesome. If you watch the videos of him helping people who have problems with their dogs, he's just, he knows what he's doing. But he's very attuned to them. And he can almost he reads them and can almost like communicate directly with them. And the more loving you are, the more attuned to their frequency, their vibration, and their breed and what that breed kind of represents, the better you can deal with them. Okay, go ahead. Any more?
This is from Donald Galvin. Can our body elementals ever gain a threefold flame?
Well, the body elemental is like absorbed as you are absorbed into your I am presence. Your soul is absorbed or subsumed into your I am presence. The body elemental is part of that process too. So, in effect, even though it's like part of you, or it's like, it seems to be almost separate, it's really part of you, Donald. So when you are absorbed into your I am presence, your body elemental is absorbed. So it's really one and the same thing. So it's not like there's a separate threefold flame of your body elemental. Body elemental is just like a little essence of you, like a shadow, but not a negative shadow. It's like a little sparkling essence of who you are that you can attune to and talk to help you to maintain health and vitality and well-being. It's really not separate, though. We think of it as separate, but it's just part of you. Like your soul, we say the girl child, the boy child, all that. It's all just part of your essence, really. I mean, we separate it out for identification to kind of learn things. When your threefold flame is balanced and you ascend, the body elemental is part of you and just goes up into that infinity state. Okay, that's a short, quick answer. That's it? Okay. Well, thank you, everyone.